Hi, I'm so glad that you could come and meet with me today. You've been writing to me that you don't know what you're going to do with your life. I know it's a really big question, isn't it? You've written to me saying you're not sure which career to follow, which career pathway, and you've said that you feel anxious, stressed and worried. So today we're going to have a look at your career direction. Are you ready? Okay. Before we start, just a couple of details. Your full name. And your email address. Okay. All right. Because what I'd like to do is I'd like together to work out some homework that you can achieve by yourself and then report back to me so that you're being empowered to find your own direction rather than someone handing you a direction that's not authentic to yourself. Do you agree with that? So today we're going to look at tools to help you form your own pathway rather than I tell you what you should be doing. I think that so many people tell us what we should be doing. So many people label us. So many people tell us we should, we must, we ought. I'm not going to do that. And I'm going to suggest to you that you be your authentic self and don't worry about what other people tell you. Often they're making suggestions based on their experience, their own agenda, their values, and who they are. And what's really important is that your career pathway reflects who you are. I know you're young too, and you mentioned that to me, and you said to me, but I'm only young. How can I possibly know what my career should be when I'm this young? Yeah, I get it. And I think that that is something to be aware of. You are young. You're only just starting the pathway of life. So how can you know what career to follow? Yeah, it's tough. I get it's tough. I get that. But I think you can do it anyway. It doesn't have to be overnight. It doesn't have to be straight away. But step by step, you can find your own way. It may not be the best way or the most effective or efficient way in the beginning. But each step you take with consideration of who you are is a step forward. Sometimes we take 3 steps in the journey of life and we think, oh, wrong path, and we take a couple back. Or maybe we have to sit down and have a think. That's okay. That's better than just treading water where you are. And there's times to tread water and think, okay, let's have a contemplate of where I am. A career is about your life. You spend so many hours working to support your family or to support your significant other or to contribute to your family. So it's pretty important that it reflects who you are. And it damn near needs to make you happy. It really does. I'm not talking about blissful happiness, red shiny cars. I'm talking about a feeling of contentment when you go home each day. A feeling of excitement when you go to work or start work each day. The feeling of being inspired when you work. We need that. That may not happen straight away, but if we put the right dominoes in place, the process will commence. Now remember Michael Jordan. Think about Michael Jordan. He was thrown off his university team and he made a decision to get back up and get back up and get back up. But it's not simply getting back up. It means getting back up and creating a strategy. The strategy may not be the right one. So you get back up and you make a different strategy. And you get back up and you make a different strategy with resilience. The most important thing here is to be your own person and to give life a go. No excuses. Don't blame other people. Don't blame past experiences. I'm not looking for miracles here. I'm not looking for amazing feats. I'm looking for your passion. Often when we're happy, we feel a sense of flow, that we're in the moment, that time just passes by. You know, when you're enjoying something that's really special to you, that feeling of flow when time just disappears. This is what I want from you eventually in your career. Maybe not today or tomorrow as you're progressing up the pathway or the career ladder, but eventually that's what I want. So where do we start here in your career? Right now, you're feeling a level of stress and anxiety, as you've told me. So let's have that the first step. I want you to write down 3 or 4 straightforward ways to reduce your level of anxiety and to look at it in perspective. So 1, this isn't the end of the world. Not knowing what career you want, that's not the end of the world. Look at it with perspective. It's okay. We'll get there. Second to that, you need to know yourself. That's not going to happen overnight. But what you already know some of your values. Who are you? What are your values? What are your values? Okay, so let's start at looking at the stress and the anxiety. I want 3 or 4 user-friendly ways to manage that, look at it more realistically, look at it with a little bit more of a reality check. What are 3 or 4 things that you can do each day to bring your anxiety down? Yeah, they're good ideas. And I want these to come from you. So yes, gain advice from professionals in your life. Gain advice, that's fine. But the buck stops with you. So I can suggest ways to manage your anxiety. You decide which ones you're going to adopt and practice and practice and practice. So I could suggest going for a walk each day. I could suggest guided meditation. I could suggest that you declutter your work area. I could suggest that you choose the friends that support you. I could suggest that perhaps you see a professional career psychologist. I could suggest those things. But which ones are you going to decide to do? It's about the decision-making process. Now, when you contacted me, I know you were feeling a little bit down on yourself. I know that. So we want to gently, softly approach here. I don't think it's the right approach here to have another person hitting you over the head saying, get a life, make a decision. I'm gently saying to you that you're worth it. I'm gently saying to you that you have the resilience and the strength within you. I'm gently saying that you can do it. Maybe the can do is not today, but you can do it. I believe in you. And part of my belief means that I'm asking you to go softly. Okay, so you can choose 4 things to do each day to manage your stress. Remember, some stress is good. You need the stress of anticipation. Oh my goodness, am I going to pass that exam? Oh my goodness, which course am I going to do? Turn them into positive stresses if you can. If you can. Look at ways to manage your stress, to bring your consciousness down a level so you're thinking more clearly. We could spend this whole session looking at stress management. I would like to divide it up among different areas. So 3 or 4 user-friendly strategies that you can do each day to manage your stress and recognize the difference between positive stress and negative stress. Number 2, a softly approach here. Number 3, develop a strategy. It may not be the right one, but each time you create a strategy, you're teaching your brain to plan. You're teaching your brain to prepare. And a planning brain is a practicing brain. It's practicing success. Maybe it's not learning to jump the rope the first time or the second time or the third time, but it's finding the way. I want you to look for the way. The only way you're going to look for that pathway forward is to be happy with who you are. Watch your self-talk. When you feel like saying, I can't do this, I'm no good. Observe, be the observer and look at your self-talk. I want you to look at it, identify it, and change it. You know that I'm a big one on journals. I want you to keep a journal. I want it to be manageable. I want it to be daily. And I want it to reflect your progress. Softly, softly, remember. In your journal, I want you to write down what helps your direction. It might be your values. It might be your strengths and weaknesses. It might be what's going on in your day. It might be identifying your self-talk and changing it. It may be reviewing what you could be doing differently. But what I want it to be is your authentic self becoming more self-aware, kindly to yourself, and creating strategy after strategy, kindly. Okay? All right, so we've gone through a couple of ideas so far. Do any of those resonate with you? Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're saying that your friends know what they want. All right, we could sit here and we could talk about who your friends are and how they apparently know what they want with their career. Where's that going to get you? Where's that going to get you? I care about you, and I know you can do it. But if we spent time talking about why you haven't done it in your eyes, how your friends have done it, who your friends are, I care about you. I know you can do it. Isn't it time that you know you can do it? I get you've written to me about the problems at home. You've written to me about the problems with your partner. We could focus on that. We could. And maybe there's some merit to that. I want you to focus on the pathway forward for you. All right, values. Let's write down 4 of your values. What does that mean, values? They're standards, ethics, morals, behaviours that you passionately believe in. An example of a value or a standard is family, kindness, having a career or focusing on a career. Career focus could be a value. What are your top 5? Again, here we could spend a whole session talking about values. What I want to do today is look across the spectrum, giving you a variety of different tools to get you going in identifying your career. Okay, so we're just looking at a scattering of ideas today, just a scattering. So, your 5 top values. Maybe you don't know today, maybe you want to think about it. Once you've got your 5 top values, I want you to write down 5 behaviours for each value. What 5 behaviours support that value? So for family, it could be getting together with the family on a Sunday. It could be attending birthday parties. It could be listening to your little sister. It could be engaging, empathy. What are 5 behaviours for each of your values? Again, I know I'm moving quickly here. I know that. But what I want at the end of this session is for you to go away with a toolkit. Okay? Now, I'm giving you quite a few tools quickly. So gently. Go easy on yourself. Okay, so 5 values, 5 behaviours for each of those values. Now I want you to write down 5 of your interests. Basketball, friendship, going to the movies, going to the races, going to the beach. Write down 5 interests that you have. What makes those interests interesting? Let's look at the word interesting. Interesting is to attract you, resonates with you, you have a sense of flow, you get lost in the moment when you do these particular interests. The things that are your interests are the things that are interesting to you. The things that are interesting to you reflect who you are. The things that reflect who you are what you should be doing generally. What are your interests? Why are they interesting? There's some of your values. There are some of your behaviours. Your career needs to be interesting. Now, a little clause there. It may not be interesting in the beginning because you may have to start as the office person and then move on up the ladder. As we move up the ladder, there are some vegetables there. What I mean by that is we always need to eat our broccoli every day in our dinner. Eat our vegetables. We may not like, I love vegetables, but we may not like our vegetables. But we eat them to keep healthy. So in your career, what are your vegetables? Are your vegetables turning up to work each day on time? Are your vegetables attending workshops? Are your vegetables going back to school? Are your vegetables spending time after work? Are your vegetables listening to this? Know your vegetables. So a career is to be satisfying, but nothing is satisfying without practice. Okay, that's a lot to do for today. There's a lot there. Interests, values, stress management. Now remember, there's two types of stress. Positive, which is also referred to as eustress, and negative, which is distress. Life has both. We manage the negative. We use the positive. Going for a job is exciting. Going for a job interview is exciting, interesting. Manage stress well, which is what Rossman says. I love Rossman, who talks about stress. Stress well and manage negative stress. Keep a journal. Have a plan and don't place too much pressure upon yourself. Have a realistic plan that you go back to again and again and again. Have a strategy. Lock the strategy into time. Softly, softly. Don't place too much stress upon yourself. This is about finding life satisfaction. So if you place a goal on yourself that causes you too much stress, it's counterproductive, isn't it? Is that enough for you to start with? I thought that you could go away and you could journal some of this and bring it back so we can look at what career suits you. How you're managing your stress around your career decisions and your career pathway. We could look at the positive stress, the negative stress, what you're doing about it. What sort of strategy do you have for keeping your career journal? How are you going to do that? Yeah? Okay. Looking at your values, your interests, your behaviours. Know your values. You don't have to lock them into stone here. Okay? Start to identify them. You are young, but life passes by quickly. So what I mean by that is I don't want you to stress out negatively, but I want you to look at it realistically. You do need a career. What are your options now? Which one are you going to pursue? Why, when, how? Write it down. Don't tell me what your friends are doing. Don't waste your brain and your focus on your friends, what their career paths are. I'm here for you. I want to know what your career path is. So I'm going to let you go now. You can do it. I want to hear back from you about how you're going in deciding upon your career. All right? Values. Your career will reflect your values. Vegetables. You can't escape eating the vegetables. What are your vegetables? Know them and eat that broccoli. What can you do each day? What would a room look like of someone with a particular career? Declutter. Declutter your car. Declutter your house. Have time to feel well as well. You're not going to achieve your career pathway, your career, if you are feeling no good about yourself, or watch yourself talk. Okay, that's a lot to achieve. Softly, softly. You can do it. Let me know how you're going. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear from you. And I know you can do this. You are, after all, a student of life. There's your life. Live it. Breathe it. Don't waste it on other people's journeys. This is your journey. It's exciting. Embrace it. Take it on. And let me know